Welcome to In the Blue. I'm your host, Dr. Corey Frogley, and we've got a special show for you today, one that I'm actually very excited about because it touches on all the basis of lifestyle, of making more money in the changing world of healthcare. And my guest today, Dr. Aaron Gumm, is a master at this because he got really tired of being in just this pressure rat race of a lot of us out there as practitioners been kind of this forced into this high volume practice because of the income that can generate. And a lot of us out there, we want to make a good living as doctor. We've invested a tremendous amount of our lives into this, but it poses this question of, with the changing landscape of insurance and reimbursement and all of these things that we're going to touch on today, is how can you still make a really good living but not have to feel like you're just pushing patients through the line, right? The production line. And so Dr. Gumm, he literally stepped out of practice and developed this system, and it's automated blueprint that allows you to automate a lot of the things that you spend a lot of your time doing. And by freeing up that time, you actually have the time to spend with the patient and quality of care. And we're gonna show you by the end of the show today, you're going to understand how you can drive profits in a way that maybe you didn't even think possible. So, Dr. Gum, welcome to the show. Super excited to have you with us.
Thanks, Corey. It's a blessing to be on here, and I'm excited about this because obviously I'm a passionate about systems and automation. I always like having conversations with different practitioners. And you're right. I mean, I went through the old antiquated model of seeing 5, 6, 700 patients a week, and I mean, I loved doing what I was doing, and I went from that and said, well, I got to start working a little smarter. I went into the integrated model. So I did a little hybrid model where I saw less people, build more insurance, and it's kind of this chasing the fame, I guess, of what the new thing on the market was, and I just really got tired of the hurdles, insurance audits, and having to see a ton of people to make a good living. So I started looking at ways how I could replicate myself and add cash services to our office. And really how I could create systems that didn't involve me.
And that's been the toughest thing for these doctors, because a lot of them they want to produce this stable, healthy practice. And just to kind of set the table for this discussion, as many of you know, with BlueIQ, we can look at our insurance reimbursements, we can look at billables, we can compare that over time. And looking at just my practice, my brother's practice, we did an insurance review and we looked at what we were billing out a year ago and being reimbursed a year ago compared to this year to date. And there has been the same production, actually a more, because we're in a growth phase, but yet a 40% reduction on the reimbursement. So we're just looking at insurance production versus insurance reimbursement, 40% reduction in those payments. Luckily, because of Blueprint, we're seeing an increase in those cash services and cash reimbursement. So we're doing well, but it is the game that these doctors are having to play, and it's frustrating.
Oh yeah, I mean, we talk to a lot of doctors across the country. I mean, we have over 250 clients, and so we talk to a lot of doctors with different types of models. And I'm just hearing the same things. It's like every person I get on the phone, they're scared because insurance is just going away in some aspects, or just like one of the insurance carriers, they're not even getting paid for their exams now. It's like a nationwide push for one of the major carriers, and it was like, it's just mind blowing to me because we're all out here trying to help people, and that's all we're trying to do. And that's my passion. How can we help these docs help more people? And that's kind of where my passion came from. Of how can I beat the system and beat the typical practice, so to speak? And that's really what we're trying to accomplish.
I love it. So let's start with that. Let's talk about freeing up the doctor's time, and what's the the first step for these guys to buy back their time?
Yeah, when I sat down and looked at my clinic, I said, where in my clinic am I repeating myself? What can be automated and what can be a system and a machine that works for me? One of the first things was the patient pre-education that they go through. So, you can imagine it doesn't matter what it is: chiropractic neuropathy, knee pain, stem cell, regenerative medicine, weight loss, thyroid. It doesn't matter what niche it is. When you go into a consultation room and talk to a patient and start educating them on why they're there, it's the same song and dance every single time when you go in there. So what we've done is we've created automated pre-education processes, video content, professionally voiced over, professionally produced, so that patient can go through that automatedly. So at the same time, that doctor could have someone going through pre-education in the consultation. They could have someone in the other room going through automated report of findings video and be in the other room doing a financial all at the same time. So you can process patients 3 times as fast as you normally can.
Wow.
And also, think about the seminars. The old antiquated way of doing the live seminar and doing get in front of 30 people still works great. But at the same token, we can save a lot of time and energy. We have all automated seminars where we teach our doctors how to just do the introduction to it, get that connection. You still want that doctor-patient connection. You push play, and it does the message for you. And at the end, you had a great result. And eventually, staff can run that entire thing.
And that leads to one of the questions. When I first heard about this, my first kind of gut instinct, because customer and patient service is so important. We obviously always teach patient first. My worry was that it would come across impersonal, that the patient would sit there and be like, "Really? I'm sitting here in this room watching a video." I'll share my feedback in a second, but how would you address that with our audience of how is that received, and how do we make sure that we still stay patient centric?
Well, perceived value is always in the presentation of it, right? It's the only way. The only way, if you can present it properly and have technology part of your process. So when you walk into a consultation room and the patient's getting ready to go through the pre-education, instead of saying, "Mary, watch this video, we'll be back," yeah, that may work on a third of the people. I mean, people that just like, "Okay, I'll just get through this." But if you walk in that room and say, "Mary, the doctor's going to be here in a little bit. One of our missions in our practice is to help as many people in our community as we can. In order to do that, obviously, we know the doctor can't be in 2 places at once. So we use technology to educate our patients. So by using technology, that allows us as a clinic to help more people in our community, and it really feeds our mission. Are you okay with that?" So if you can look at both ways, no one's going to say no to be part of helping more people. Same thing when you do a group report. Okay, the reason why we use technology is to make sure that we're X, Y, and Z. So it's just all in the presentation. We have all the training in our platform on how to do that. And we have staff training for them to train on and really make it part of your process.
And it does work. We've seen the patients be totally okay with it and impressed with it because, again, the quality is there. It's high enough quality that it's well received for sure.
Yeah, and really, the stories we're hearing from our clients, I mean, they're really scaling the practices. I mean, we have a lot of clients that they'll be running seminars during office hours. They'll have a room just for pre-education. So that's a revolving room that they're sticking, maybe a neuropathy seminar to a gut health one at 4, a knee pain at 5, a weight loss at 7. So they can really scale their marketing even better because they can plug them into that reoccurring pre-education room fully automated.
Yeah, super
You don't
cool.
need that room, but I mean, it really works out better if you can do that. But we have doctors that can't do that, and they're still processing people in their room, in the regular consultation rooms.
Cool. So yeah, take us through what's the next step of your automation? What else have you automated to be able to improve that process?
Well, when you think about one of the biggest things when we start a patient or start a patient under care is keeping them educated. And the big thing is usually we're doing, in the old model, we're doing live seminars in the office. We're handing out flyers, maybe a topic of the week, so to speak. handed them a food guide to follow. But so what we've done is we created education for each niche. Okay, so our software that we operate out of, you can enroll a patient, and so if a neuropathy patient starts, you can enroll a patient into that education system or stem cell, whatever it may be, and it really guides them through the entire program that they're in your office. So it seems to them like you're sending them a message every single day, and that message has a recipe of the day, they have a wellness tip of the day, they have seminars online to attend. So it's an entire patient curriculum for them to go through. It adds tremendous value. I mean, imagine that. I mean, imagine if you're receiving something every day, what a patient's going to think. They think that they care, and the values, it puts a value system on what they paid for, so that it keeps them engaged as well. Retention, a lot of different things.
Yeah, no, we call, we look at these touch points, right? And you've come in and built these personalized touch points for the patient that, as you said, is perceived by the patient as, man, this is rich. Like, I'm getting a lot for my money. And I think in the past, that's where doctors were looking at fee cases of, man, I'm charging this, and they're putting all the value on just the outcome
Right.
and not the process. And I think that that's the beautiful thing that you've done is you've built value in the process.
You look at most programs, there's a lot of gaps, and you need to fill something with value that works for you. Okay, because I mean, when I was running my first practice, when I first got out of school, I was doing like a seminar a week on a different topic. I was doing my doctor's reports. Man, it was a lot of time and energy, and most doctors would just let that fall to the wayside because they just give up, because they don't have any time or energy anymore. So they've kind of just lost value, and that's where their close rate goes down, and that's where people start dropping off and asking for refunds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it really and also with that education, our software allows the patient. Now you're going to like this. I'm sure you already know this. The patient can actually log their food, their water intake, their activity. They can submit virtual questions to the office. So if they're in a weight loss program and they want to know if pizza's on their food list, they can submit a question. The staff will receive it, all HIPAA compliant. And the staff say, no, pizza's not on your food list. And they can really service a lot of the stuff virtually with our software and track it and pull it up real time and see how compliant they are.
Beautiful. And that's the difference in old consulting ways, right? You went to a consultant, they taught you a system, you took that system, you went back to your practice, you implemented it, you worked with your team. But this is different. Like this automated blueprint that you've put together, you're actually buying a product that you're plugging into your systems that supports everything that you're doing, and that's a game changer.
You and I have been through a lot of programs, and a lot of people are selling concepts, and it's all up on our shoulders to go back in that office and make that concept a real thing.
Yeah.
But what we've done is we've taken the concept, we've made it real, and made systems around them for you to plug it and play it. You can get up and running within, a week and a half, 2 weeks of a niche really easily. And we give you all the marketing and everything to support all those niches as well. So,
yeah. So let's cover that. What are the niches that you cover that these doctors can get access to?
So we have neuropathy, knee pain, regenerative medicine, stem cell, weight loss, thyroid, gut health, plantar fasciitis, decompression, chiropractic, and I think that's it. We have keto also. It's kind of a spin-off of our weight loss.
Yeah.
We started with 3 niches, and now we have 9. We've never charged any of our clients for any more of them. We just keep creating stuff and adding, and continually add value, pour into our clients. So when they become clients, they're not going to go anywhere, because we want to make sure that we're over delivering and just not that concept kind of approach.
Yeah, and I tell you, as you list those off, those are such common things that as practitioners we all see in our practices, and this really does help you become an expert in your field, because you're now marketing to a specific patient base that are suffering. They know they're suffering for these things. They're Googling them. They're looking for solutions. We live in a different world, and so when they're coming to you, that you actually have a system, a proven system to treat this particular condition that they have, and then they're getting emails on that specific condition, dietary changes on that specific condition, equipment that helps treat those specific conditions. You really are poised as the expert in your area in treating these things. And again, that's part of the brilliance of your program.
Well, and the cool thing about like some of the niches like neuropathy, knee pain, plantar fasciitis, these niches are hybrid models where we have a drop ship model. So we have very specific home equipment that has, over 21 peer-reviewed studies behind it that we drop ship straight to the patient's house to treat themselves daily at home. And we have a stimulation device that we use in our process as well. So for like a neuropathy patient, they're doing all their home care each day, 7 days a week. They're only coming to your clinic once a week. They're following the guidelines online, the curriculums, and then so you're only seeing that patient once a week, so you're not hitting a capacity issue. And with the dropship model, you're able to ship that stuff straight to them right from the manufacturer. We have it all set up. We have all the price negotiated. So you're not filling your shelves full of 10 grand in equipment on your shelf. Yeah. You don't buy it until they pay you. So it really allows you to use that money for marketing and stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's what's so unique about this. I mean, we go back to this chiropractic model where the patient has to come in 3 times a week. People are still selling 36 visit care plans, 24 visit care plans, just to kind of help our audience understand the difference between this, because I see a lot of these practices selling 36 visit care plans for $2,400 or, somewhere in that range. Share with us a little bit about the price range of your packages and the number of times a patient is coming into the practice, and just so they see the stark difference.
Yeah, so like neuropathy, knee, like plantar fasciitis, those types of niches, our care plans, we have 3 different levels. So they go from like 6,300 down to like 3,800. Our doctors are always going in with the best recommendation, but we've given them tools to be able to downgrade programs, a little less equipment, a little less nutrition, to where if that patient needs a lower case fee to fit in, we have that available. But on those types of case fees, they're coming in 8 to 10 times total over the period of time. They're doing the majority of the care at home, and then really after that, we teach them how to put on a lifetime care membership to be able to keep them under care.
What would you recommend for these patients or these chiropractors that are still their philosophy behind them is that a patient needs more chiropractic care within that? Do you have a hybrid? Do you have any recommendations? How do you address some of those issues?
What you're saying is like the frequency of care for chiropractic.
Mm-hmm.
With our chiropractic and like decompression programs, the biggest bonus on that is the pre-education. A lot of doctors out there doing like group reports still. We have the automated group report now that we can do the introduction to it, where you don't have to deliver that message. And then we have the automated report of findings. But with the visit count with chiropractic and decompression, we do have somewhat of a hybrid model where you can include like infrared technology into their care plan and send them home with that to offset some of the healing time that they need versus coming in 3 days a week. The biggest thing with chiropractic and decompression is getting into our combining niches through practice automation. Mm-hmm. And the way you do that, because most chiropractors, we address, we went to school and we address the patient neurologically and structurally. And that's what we're taught. We're chiropractors. But what we leave out is the metabolic component. Here's a huge component to care under the metabolic component, and we leave it out because usually to add that to a care plan, it takes time, money, energy, staff, systems. So we don't want to deal with it. So thoughts, trauma, toxins has been around a long time. It's part of our philosophy,
right?
And we're just doing the traumas and somewhat the toxins. Somewhat, we just give them a sheet and say, hey, eat these foods. But with Blueprint, you can add a weight loss, a keto, or we have a 90-day automated functional medicine program. Doesn't require labs. It's a point system, a survey system that identifies that patient. But all you have to do is enroll them into that metabolic niche, and it really services it for you. And then they're taught how to submit questions about that part of the program virtually to allow to manage it virtually. So when they come in for their visits, there's not a lot of questions about that part of their program. And the two scenarios you want to talk about is Mary walks in the door and she's 30 pounds overweight. Well, every pound you're overweight is 4 pounds in the joint, straight from the Mayo Clinic on weight-bearing joints. It's accelerating her degenerative process. So Mary has stage 2 degeneration, low back pain, mid back pain running down her leg. Well, she has about 120 extra pounds on those weight-bearing joints. So that conversation alone with our doctors, just having a different conversation in the consultations and report of findings is increasing their collections just by having a different conversation, different systems.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Well, we're kind of winding down on time here, unfortunately, and I wanted to get to this point in kind of closing. What I would like you to share with us is what lifestyle change, not for the patient, for the doctors who are in your program, how is this changing their lives?
I mean, a lot of times what we're hearing is I'm working way less, seeing less patients, helping more people, but seeing less patients in the office, but doubling collections, tripling their collections. I mean, I don't know how many times I've heard that story. And that's my story from when I all of this originated was, how in the heck can I get out of my practice?
Yeah.
And that's where this all came from. Is I created these in my practice in the beginning. So a lot of our doctors they're going on vacations. They buying their wives cars, and just some cool stories. I get text messages all the time. It's very rewarding to see that people and doctors are they're finally being able to experience what we all went to school for, is to have freedom. And
Yeah.
we didn't go to school to work 90-hour weeks. We didn't go to school to help thousands of people and not get paid for it. We went to school to help people and get rewarded for it and reap the benefits of it in our lives. And that's really my passion, to help doctors get there.
Love it. Well, and that goes right back to the philosophy of BlueIQ. We're all about tools of scalability and automating this, helping. If you're interested in opening up 2, 3, 4, a dozen practices, there's not a better system out there to help you scale. There's so much scalability behind this automation and doing these things. So, Aaron, if our audience wants to get a hold of you, learn more about you, how do they do that?
Go to www.yourautomatedpractice.com/online training. Okay, that's going to be our webinar that educates you about our whole entire system. At the end of that, you'll have a schedule. Let's jump on the phone. Now, that phone call is not a sales pitch. It's not a sales pitch at all. It's really a strategy session. I want to hear how your practice functions, and from that, I'm going to give you literally a 30-day plan of how you can accelerate what you're currently doing, and what services you can add on pretty quickly to start accelerating your income and your collections. And from there, you can say, hey, you know what? That's great. I don't know how many times I've heard from clients and like, man, I really appreciate you not trying to sell me. I'm not trying to sell anybody. I'm just trying to get the word out there. And just to feel free, if you're not using BlueIQ, a lot of our clients are doing it. It's a phenomenal system. I mean, we really appreciate everything that you do and the information you feed into our clients as well. So again, www.yourautomatedpractice.com/online training.
Beautiful. It's a program I absolutely support, and he's automated the education process so that you are educated when you do come onto the phone to talk to Aaron. And I'll be the first to endorse that it's not a sales pitch. He really truly just wants to find out where you're at, what the system can do for you, and if it's a right fit. It may not be, but if it is, you could join the hundreds of doctors that are implementing this into the practice to be able to free up their time. So again, you can buy back your life, your quality, your ambitions, your dreams, and again, that's what we're all about. So that's why Blueprint and BlueIQ has been such a great relationship. So Aaron, thanks for joining us today. Great to have you on the show. And man, we've got a lot of work ahead of us, don't we?
We do. Let's do it together. God bless y'all.
Thank you, sir. Audience, thanks for being with us today. Remember, you can be here, join the discussion every Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. Every Friday, we're here in the blue, helping your practice scale. Thanks for being with us.